We're live.
Welcome to the Heart Coherence Collaborative.
Recording started.
Welcome everybody to the Heart Coherence Collaborative. We're so excited. Today we have Ra of Earth, who I've been following for a while. Gained so much wisdom from Ra. I just want to first off thank you, man, for being here.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm it's an honor. It's an honor. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, you've been an incredible influence to me on so many levels. So I'm truly so excited. We're gonna go into Kriya. This is gonna get really fun. But Leah's gonna start off by reading Ra's bio, and then we're gonna do a heart lock-in.
Yeah, so Ra of Earth is a teacher of humanology, all things fitness, movement, yoga, and ancient occult practices to optimize human technology for full spectrum living.
That's you, man.
Thank you, Leah. Thank
The
you.
most powerful short biography, because I feel like I can usually read like 5 paragraphs about someone to get to the level of intense feeling that just those few words said.
Yeah. So welcome, brother.
Yes.
Let's dive into the heart together and let's get this party started.
Let's do it.
All right.
So everybody with us, welcome. If everybody could just focus your attention in the area of your heart and imagine that your breath is flowing in and out of your heart, your chest area, breathing a little slower and deeper than usual. Try a pace of 5 seconds on the in-breath, 5 seconds on the out-breath, in and out through the heart. Now, as you're breathing in and out through your heart, give thanks for your heart. Feel the power of your heart, the strength of your heart, the gift of your heart. Just really feel grateful for this incredible organ that you didn't have to work for. It was just given to you. I gave you the greatest gift of all, life.
And next, continuing the breath in and out of your heart, about 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. Go back to and re-experience a feeling of bliss. It could be something that you ate. It could be something sexual. It could be a feeling of just being in your bed and being comfortable, or being on the beach. Go back to whatever bubbles up as the last time that you felt bliss. Feel it and breathe into it. Smile into it.
Now, as you continue to breathe in and out through your heart, just think about a moment that you're really proud of and try to really feel that moment. Be in that moment, see what you saw, feel what you felt. Just really feel that feeling of being proud for whatever it is. Maybe you accomplished something. Maybe you overcame a fear.
And lastly, we're going to go in to a feeling of awe. So maybe you can think of being on a mountain, or the last experience that you had that you felt really connected with a power that's greater than yourself. It could be looking into the ocean or looking up at the night stars. But reimagine that in your body, in your mind, in your heart, breathing in and out and re-experiencing that feeling of awe.
All right. So thanks again, Brother Ra, for joining us, man. So grateful to have you here. And,
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I just went on some mountaintops right now and
Nice.
experienced all those emotions.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Cool. Yeah. So thank you, Kyle and Leah. Should I take it from here?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. For
take
sure.
it away.
We'll mute.
All right. So I wanted to discuss and actually practice around the topic of choice and intention, and do we really have control of our reality? So a lot of what I'm going to say may or may not be from a perspective that you adopt, but if we could just be open to the information, we could integrate it.
Beautiful.
All right. So a lot of us have well, we all live in a reality, right? And this reality that we have constructed around ourselves that we exist in it's a result of a whole bunch of choices. Speaking from a linear standpoint, a whole bunch of choices that we've made in our life, right? So our series of choices of yes, no, right, left, do I do this, do I do this, do I do this, do I do this, all of these choices that we make our entire life has led us through a version of reality, and we've set where we are right now in the present. And so the question is, like, if we made different choices, would we be in a different reality? And if we make different choices now, do we have ability to steer ourselves into the reality of our choosing? And is there an algorithm that I can use to figure out which choices would best suit me to be in the realities of my greatest power?
Yeah.
And these questions are, I think, things that we all may deal with. Some of us are aware of, but a lot of us would like for the choices that we make to all work out, right? We would all like to make the choices that we make serve us, serve humanity. We don't really like when they don't work out, but we don't really get to choose that, right? So from a choice standpoint, being aware that some things may work out, some things may not work out in the way that we imagine them, that's part of the deal, right? We do have to surrender to that. But if we step back even further and realize that we might not even be the one making the choices, then we can really, then it allows us to analyze the choices in our life from a different perspective than we just do in our mind, right? Our mind is one aspect of ourself, and we think that the choices come up in our head because that's where we hear them, right? And then we're all talking about this heart, so we can even feel them within our heart, and we can feel them within our body. Is there a way, though, that we can open up all of those capacities, right? The brain, the heart, our body, so that we can receive, maybe, I'm not going to make a definitive say, but let's say that there's something else directing our life here, right? We're essentially an aspect of source, right? We're a microcosmic reflection of source, of divinity. And source is expressing itself in all possible phenomenon. And we are one of those phenomenons, right? And this is happening eternally. So through time and space, all at once, simultaneously, because there's really only one moment. And so are we able to dial into the frequencies of what I'm calling source, right? Other people have different words for it, such as God, but are we able to dial into these frequencies so that we are able to take on its power and its energy? And these energies are going to be easier to be expressed if we're aligned, right? If we're aligned internally.
Mm.
And so if we can match ourselves and be in harmony with not just ourselves, but everything in reality, then the path that we are on will feel harmonious. And I feel like that's what a lot of people experience as emotions such as satisfaction. So if you guys think about the emotion of satisfaction, that emotion can give you a little bit of context of what I'm talking about here. When you feel satisfied, you're in alignment internally, and that matches the external experience and even experiences beyond that, right? True satisfaction, you feel in complete alignment, like in all directions.
Yeah.
All right. So what I want to do is put a framework to this reality that we are experiencing is created by us. And at the same time, this reality is creating us. So we're in a creation, like as a creator and as something that's being created. It's happening multidimensionally back and forth. And the key is to be able to tune ourselves to this grand frequency so that when we make the choices that we make, we have a toolbox to make those choices. And I already mentioned satisfaction. And I'll get into that. Excitement's another tool that we can use to determine the choices that we make. But I do want to set the stage just to give a little bit of evidence about how this reality we are creating is happening through us. And there's some simple examples we can use. So if you just look around whatever room, or if you're outside, if you look around, let's just say you're inside. I'm assuming most people are inside. If you look around the room that you're in and you look at something, so I'm looking at this plant next to me. Whatever you look at, think back to before you had that, right? So this plant, for instance, I remember we had a thought and we had a feeling that we would like to live in a house with a bunch of plants. So we drove to the nursery, and then the next day, this plant is manifested in my reality. It's actually sitting on a desk too. And the desk is a better example. The desk I just got, I was thinking, man, I need more space in my office. And then the next day there was an estate sale, and I went inside, and this desk was the first thing that I saw. It was actually the front entrance desk, and they gave it to me for more than 50% off.
Yes.
So if you look around your room, you can see that everything, even like the grocery bag, like there was a thought, there was an intention, there was a feeling that led that to manifest into your life. Okay. And that's just a neutral items in your life. If I feel that it's even easier to see our creator powers when negative experiences happen, what we would classically define as negative would happen in our life. Okay. So if you think about, and this might be something you have to do in the future, where you analyze, why did this thing happen? Right. And I've been doing this since I was a kid, because I noticed that when I was a kid doing like devious things, anytime I would do something, I would usually end up hurting myself or ruining some object that I cared about. Like if I was knocking over some garbage cans on my bike, like doing a little kick flip, soon as I would do that, I would fall. One time I was hitting mailboxes with my hockey stick, and instead of hitting the mailboxes, I just smashed the brand new like sports mirror I got on my truck. Right. So if we think back, one time I was riding my bike super fast, and a lady came crossing the bike trail on her phone, and I thought to myself, what an idiot. Right. This is a long time ago. I don't think like this because I learned. I thought, what an idiot. She's not even paying attention. I'm going to ride as fast as I can, as close as I can to her, just to let her know that I was here and she could have almost gotten ran over. And right when I was about to do that, she turned around to go back to her car to get something. I slammed on my brakes and flew, and I got scraped up like crazy. So when these things happen in our life, car accidents, speeding tickets, arguments, you getting fired from jobs, anything, you getting yelled at, somebody saying something rude to you, if we just go back and ask the questions, we can usually find evidence how we created that. And it's usually really easy to do.
Yeah.
And if you feel like it's not possible for you, then listen to your friends complain about things. Listen to your friends tell you about things that have happened to them. And you should even easier be able to, because you're not really attached to that, right?
Right.
You should very easily be able to see how they actually created this whole thing. And at the end of the day, it ends up being for your own good. Okay, it ends up being for the good of everybody. So if we can really, so I've taken these concepts and integrated it into my life to really believe, right? And imagine. Whether it's true or not didn't matter to me in the beginning. I just wanted to see what would happen if I went through life as if I was creating all of this, or we were creating all of this, which is another subject. But let's just speak from a personal standpoint, because that's stage one, is I am creating all this. I am all of this, right? What you realize is that what I just said, I am all this, is not so much I am creating all this, it's that I am all of this. And our role then becomes, how can I be in harmony with all? That's the step that I got to, right? And then it comes back to the choices that we make. How can I assure that the choices that I make are going to be in harmony with source? And that's where we're going to move into with the practice. So I mentioned satisfaction, right? So if you think about, I'm deliberating something right now, and it's, should I start my own podcast? Okay, I've been on many podcasts. Should I start my own podcast? I want everybody to think about something that they are currently weighing in their head, right? Should I do this? Should I do that? We all currently kind of find something. It might be similar to what I was saying, right? Should I do this? Right? Sometimes it could be something that you're already doing, such as, like, let's say you own your own business, right? And I know what that's like. There's basically always stuff for you to do. And let's say you're putting in 15 hours a week. And then there's that question, should I be putting in 60 hours, right? Should I be working more? Should I be working less, right? So it doesn't have to be a choice in direction. It could be something that you're already doing. Is there a choice for you to do more or less, or do it at a different intensity, a different flavor, a different color? So if this is, I wrote down a note, I just need to read it just because if this is something, so I'm just trying to think of examples. We're all going to need this choice in the example that we have. All right. We're all going to need a choice, and we want to really just ask ourselves, one of these directions, where's their excitement? Where's their satisfaction? Right? Like that's all that really matters, because we're trying to chase harmony with reality. And if we think with our mind, is this going to benefit me? Am I going to make money? Is this going to be worth my time? Am I going to, is this going to benefit people? Like, when you start thinking about all of that, your mind has attachments to certain things, which are important, but there's more than the mind. Okay. So those questions, all of those are questions that are based in the future, right? And all of that's doing is stealing away from the moment now, the energy that you could actually be putting into moving forward in the direction that you feel with your totality that excites and satisfies you. So we really want to step away from the mind, the chatter of, is this going to benefit me? Will this, will that? And just think about step one, what's exciting in the direction. Kyle, do you wanted to share, just so we
Yeah. So you actually went through the example that I was kind of in my head. Like, I have a job, and then I have business, and it's like, which area do I put more hours into?
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So yeah, this is something that's probably relevant for everyone. All right. So what's the exciting part? What's the satisfaction? That's what matters.
I love
And
this heart stuff. I love doing this. It brings me joy and satisfaction.
right. And we want to trust our passion
Mm,
because things like passion, you guys, things like passion are greater than us.
mm,
That's why millions of people watch sports games and
mm,
music stars and actors on TV because they're expressing their passion.
yeah.
And an audience full of 100,000 people can experience that passion through being there and watching it as well. And that passion is what we're all craving.
Mm,
Okay. And
mm,
so ideally, we're all living our passions. We all are living our dreams. We're all living in our dream worlds. So passion is the algorithm. That's the code. That's where we want to be going in the direction of. All right. And this part of ourself, this more spirited nature, and I'm saying this is outside of ourselves because what are those 100,000 people in the stadium doing? They're absorbing passion that they're witnessing being expressed through others. So the people expressing it, they're in ecstasy, they're in bliss, they're living their
mm,
dream, but they're also benefiting a lot of other people because they get to, even if it's for 2 hours on a Friday night, experience what it's like to really see and witness and feel harmony, feel the
mm.
universe.
Yeah.
Right? These are not just games these people are displaying. It's passion. That's what we're after.
Love
All
it.
right. So the fear that comes up, right?
Mm,
We're not supposed to know everything in life. I just want to address this before we get into activity. We're not supposed to know everything in life. So the questions that come up, well, what's going to happen if I do this? We are meant to know what we know. Like we're meant to know as we know. So if we don't know now, that's how it's supposed to be. And
yeah.
if you really want to know, so a lot of times we're like, I don't know about I don't know about starting my own podcast. It seems like a lot of work. I'm going to just pause. What you're doing is all of these questions that your mind has, like, well, what if this? What if that? What you're actually not satisfying your mind. If you really wanted to know these questions, then you would move forward into it and see
Mm,
what happens,
mm,
right? So the only way to know is to know. Like that's when you get to know is
yeah.
when you're doing it.
Mm,
So move forward into those directions and then you will know. Maybe like me, I moved to California to live in Laguna Beach 15 years ago. I moved to Laguna Beach, moved out, went to some other stuff, ended up in LA for 15 years. And 15 years later, I'm living the lifestyle that I imagined 15 years ago I would be moving into. It took
yeah.
15 years to manifest this house with the ocean view and,
Mm,
the wind coming in through the house. That was all my intention when I moved to California. It took 15 years. And
mm,
that growth that happened in the meantime, that was all meant for me to know. So, all right, I'm going to assume everybody has that choice, assume everybody understands the direction that leads to excitement and passion and
mm,
is able to sit within that reality.
mm.
All right. So sit within that reality. I'm going to just give everybody 15 seconds just of me not talking, just to maybe pick what most excites them.
Mm.
Everyone's going to need this.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to do three things. We're in that state, right? I want you guys we're going to be using what we're going to go through now. We're going to be developing a state of being that we're going to be using in a Kriya, in a meditation sort of thing that I call Kriya. So first, whatever choice, whatever being state you were just in, I want you to feel it from the navel down. Feel it in your physical body, especially from the navel point down. Like, what does it feel physically to be in that state of your choice of the highest excitement? Next, move into the heart emotionally. So now emotionally, what is that version of reality, that version of you feel like? Now, let's move into the mind. It's exciting. You're satisfied. How do you intellectually feel? How do you intellectually, yeah, I'll just use the word feel from a mind standpoint as this being state? Okay, we're going to need to remember those. All right, we're going to go into a Kriya. I'm assuming everyone's relaxed. For the first 3 minutes, I'm going to get a timer out. For the first 3 minutes, we want to be seated. But then we can lay back if we want to after that. But I think seated is fine for most people if they can be seated comfortably. But we could even recline after this first set. So first we're going to, before we go into that, Kyle, you're good with everything? And Leah, you guys are good to do this?
So good.
All right. All right. So
I'm in my choice.
We're going to clean and clear the screen. All right. And I'm going to be talking towards this, but just try and be open. So we're going to take our hands like this. You guys might need to maybe put one person in front of the other. Like one of you sit back. We're going to be doing this motion. I need to step back. We're going to be doing this motion. So if you guys just think about that, all right? So what we're going to be doing, and if you're pregnant or in your first 3 days of your moon cycle, you want to just go into deep breathing, all right? But for everybody else, we're going to be doing kind of like a breath of fire exhale on the way down. Okay, but give me 1 second. I'm going to keep on explaining. So it's exhale on the way down, and then the inhale happens automatically, right? And we're going to be going fast. We want to be exhaling our hands down fast and then up. So let me just set the timer. We're going to be doing this for 3 minutes, and then we're going to change it up slightly. And this is the clean us, and I'll explain what we're doing as we're doing this so we're not wasting time. So let's go exhale by pulling in that navel center. Good. Through the nose. Hands should be moving down quickly. This is cleansing and collaborating and calibrating the right and left hemispheres of the brain. And this infinity shape, this is realigning the energy that's coming off of our central channel of energy. All through the nose, eyes closed. Pulling that navel point in as you exhale. All right, I'm sensing this is almost enough, so we'll just go 30 more seconds for 90 seconds total. Keep doing this. Now emphasize the inhales on the way up. So big inhales on the way up. We're doing this 30 times. Super big inhales. 10 more giant inhales on the way up. 5, 4, 3, 2. Take a giant inhale and hold. And start slapping up and down your arms. We're holding this for 30 seconds. If you can't hold for 30 seconds, it's okay. Just slightly slap up and down your hands, even your palms. Five seconds. Okay, breathe regularly. We're going to, remember, we're cleaning here. Getting us into a state where the body is clean. We're going to do that 3 more times. We're going to slap or lightly with open fists punch the torso. Then we're going to do the legs. Don't hit the heart center though. We're going to do 30 of these, then the legs, then 30 of these, and then we're just going to either tap with the fingertips or slap the head. All right? So let's go 30 times, 30 deep inhales through the nose. $25. Deep inhale. Torso. Get the back. That's 15. If you need to breathe, go ahead and breathe. If not, we got 10 more seconds. Deep breath. Just feel that for a moment. We have 2 more sets of this. Legs are next. If you're comfortable, you can really, we can go into that pain, right? We can experience the blissfulness of pain. Make sure we get up and down the calves, the outsides of the thighs. All right, hands up and go. Inhaling up. $15. Big breaths in. Three, 2, 1. Giant inhale. Legs. Ten seconds. And release. One more, you guys. When you do this, you can take your fingertips and tap the third eye is a good point. Also, a light slap to the back of the head while even slapping. Am I on camera? While even slapping that, but lightly. Be very mindful and gentle. You can even come down into your neck. A little bit of karate chopping. Gentle, all right? One last one. And go. Halfway. Three more and hold. Go ahead. Hold. And head. You can fingertip your jaw. Ten seconds. And let your hands come down. Relax the breath. Just relax a moment here. We're going to be, close your eyes, center into yourself. If you'd like to lay back or lean back, that's okay. If you're comfortable seated, go ahead and stay there. Breathing through the nose. Deepening your breath, just feeling your breath. Make sure that we're at least 5 seconds long on the inhales, 5 seconds long on the exhales. Bring your arms out in front of you like a V. I'm just going to scoot back so we can see. So we're like a V. And we're going to, on the inhales, we're going to be pulling in energy. We can even squeeze our fists as we pull in energy into the heart. And then exhale as we push it out. So inhale as we're pulling into the heart. Exhale as we push it out. We want to see ourselves in the center of the galaxy, in the center of the universe. We're pulling in universal power into the heart on the inhales, and then we're expanding it out on the exhales. The body's completely relaxed. The only thing that clenches is the hands and the arms as we pull it in. Exhale out into the universe. Start to see yourself as tiny and the universe is vast. So you're a little tiny speck in the vastness of the universe. Let's do one more. And let those arms go out. And you can bring the arms down to your knees, wherever they're comfortable. Now remember how we felt in our physical body about the choice that excites us most. As we continue the breath pattern, deepening the inhales, not as deep as you can, but deep, somewhere between 5 to 10 seconds. We want to be pulling in from above our head, from that giant universe, the feeling of us grounded into the reality of that choice. We're inhaling that feeling state down into our navel center, and then exhaling it into our body, into our legs primarily. So it's inhaling, coming down through the top of the head, down to the navel center, and then we're exhaling what it feels like into the physical body. Feel that. For a lot of us, it might feel like strength or comfort, security. Let's come into the heart. We're inhaling the emotional codes that we recognized before we started this. Those emotions of being here in this state that we've chosen to be. And we're exhaling those emotions. We're feeling it throughout our body. Inhaling down, exhaling throughout. One more deep inhale and exhale into the heart. come up into the head, to the mind, intellectual feeling state of this reality, this version of yourself, this being. The thoughts that you have about yourself, the thoughts that you have about everything, pulling those in from source, inhaling them down into the head, dispersing them into your mind, however you imagine your mind to be. So now above your head, allow a pool of light. Remember, you're tiny in the middle of the universe. Allow a pool of light to form. And you're bringing those inhales down into your head through the crown. And you're exhaling them out the body into your aura, almost like a force field around you, a skin. As you inhale light into your head, you're exhaling, thickening this aura, this skin around you. This light is coming down from this pool in through your crown, down into, inhale it down into your heart, filling your heart up with light, exhaling it out into the field around you, adding to the power surrounding you, almost tangibly like a skin of light. Inhaling into your heart, filling that heart up with light, exhaling slowly and deliberately all of that light surrounding you. Going down into the navel center, so inhaling through the crown, through the mind, through the heart, into the navel, filling up with light, exhaling around you, more light, brightening up your field, inhaling light from the whole universe through this central column of light created by the brain, the heart, the navel center. You're filling up that column of light and you're exhaling it out around you. Inhaling all the light from the entire universe, brightening inside you, brightening outside you. And I'm going to share a mantra. So inhale through that light and you're going to repeat after me. So you're inhaling one more time, all that universal light into your central column, and say aloud, I awaken my inner ascended master that recognizes the illusory nature of the physical reality. I, as my ascended master self, perceive physical experience as a loving projection of my own imagination. I understand that my imagination is connected to my spirit, and I now at this time awaken the spiritual awareness within me. That allows for me to more easily, more lucidly, more passionately access my imagination, so I may learn to live as my spirit self. And so it is. Clap your hands once, rub them together, brush your hair, tap your head, bring yourself back to this reality. That concludes that. You guys are on mute, so we couldn't hear your chanting. But it's all right. Can you hear me?
Where did you get that mantra? That's
okay,
incredible.
so I didn't want to share where I got that from.
Oh.
I just had a session with Ryok, who's he's in the same group as Bashar. You guys familiar with Bashar? So I had a session with this guy Tyler who channels Ryok, and he taught me that. And I wasn't sure if I was going to do that, but it just felt
it was
like
right.
It was perfect, man. That whole thing was so good.
Yes.
I would love to like kind of learn maybe a little bit about what's happening in us, like as we're doing all this tapping stuff, all that stuff you just guided us through. What's actually going on in like like a lot of our followers, I don't think are really that knowledgeable about Kriya. So if you could just explain a little bit about that, I think that'd be amazing.
Well, as we, I studied exercise and I had gyms, and as we look at the human body, we kind of mostly look at it from a machine aspect, right? This body just carries us around, and we do tasks like get food and find a mate and go home, build a house to protect this physical reality. But as we are opening up spiritually, as we're opening up to other aspects of ourself, we start to realize that even our physical body is not just mechanical in nature, that our hands are connected to our emotions, our organs are connected to our emotions. This is being validated very superficially by Western science, but things like meridians and nadis and auras and chakras, these things can now be measured by our machines, but they extend beyond this physical reality. So when we measure them with the physical machine, we're only measuring part of the power, because they extend beyond time, really. They extend beyond this space. And what we're doing is we're tapping into it. So what I wanted to do was clear. I wanted to clear whatever stagnant energy, whatever emotional programming or thought programming that we have about what we're currently doing, right? So that we could then download. So we can then download remember I opened up with like source or this universe, like everything that we want exists non-physically before it exists physically. And so we just want to download those codes, which will then inspire us to be in the action, right? We all know that action produces physical reality, but before action, there's thoughts, there's motivation, right? There's emotions that inspire the action. So we're downloading all of that information, all of that source energy into ourself, so that we can then be a more powerful aspect that's completely aligned with our choice of excitement, so that when we start to produce action, we are fully invested in it from an internal standpoint, and even like whatever else there is also backing our energy as we move forward into this space.
Well, I want to say it felt absolutely amazing. And I did get downloads So that was really cool. It felt good to feel that energy coming down and open in my head. Question for you. Did you create that? Is there a name for that meditation?
I did create that for what we're doing. I've taken aspects from many different places so the whole thing in itself was my creation. I didn't like this thing is
Yeah.
that's what are they called? That used to be a wake-up call for the Assyrians, I believe. So they would do that in the morning, and that would harmonize their fields of energy. And the light channel thing, like I got some of that from Ryok actually, but a lot of it I added into, and I customized it for what we're trying to do here, right?
Yeah.
Which is my lecture, which was increasing our personal power of our choices so that we're matched to reality when we actually choose, because we did the work to understand what the best choice was for all, right? So if we are making the choices that are in alignment with source, right? What's alignment with what's most passionate, what's with what we feel the best as, then that's where the universe wants us to go. That's where everyone else wants us to go. If you guys show up into a room passionate about what you're doing, everybody wants to support that. You show up into a room scared, everyone's going to be
It's
like,
so true.
whoa. So this is, we can understand this from many different dimensions, but either one of those makes sense. We want to be doing what we're passionate about, what we're satisfied doing. Otherwise, we're not in alignment, right?
I want to thank you so much for providing our collaborative with that incredible reality creation technique. I absolutely loved it, and would encourage you to record that on its own for the world to have, because that was powerful, man. And name it.
I did spend some time, and I was like, why am I spending so much time on this? I did spend some time making that specifically for this show, but definitely.
It's amazing.
It is. And also, we can give you this recording. And I think that this should be, I mean, we would love to present it to the world, but I think even just that process on its own would be really nice, so that people can just do it. Because what is life except a bunch of choices?
Exactly.
I mean, that's really it. And I will say the really beautiful thing that happened for me, which I love when life surprises me like this, but I had two things, and it was, my choice was this or this. And what happened for me was the real answer was neither of the things that I thought.
Nice. Yeah.
Because
so we're thinking
it was a real
small.
answer. Yeah, I was thinking too small. I was thinking on like a very finite, like either this or that, which I find when I'm in my mind, a lot of times it does feel like it's either this or that. And both choices felt kind of crappy. And then, and sometimes that happens. Like when I help people decide things, a lot of times I can see the third answer that they can't even consider because they're so stuck in their mind.
Right.
And so I experienced that where, the answer was not your little small a and small b. It was this beautiful C that was kind of an emotional answer.
Exactly. I mean, reality will show up to us far grander than we ever imagined it. Far more perfect than we ever imagined it as well.
Yeah, that was awesome. And so I also know that a lot of our followers aren't aware of how, like how big of a leader you are in regards to nutrition. So I would just love for you to just introduce how you treat your body, the importance of that to our listeners, and just kind of like how important that's been to you on your journey.
Yeah, so I know that you guys are, into the heart math stuff, and I'm no expert at any of that, but I do know that there's a lot of dialogue about the brain and the heart. And if you noticed from what we just did, I also tie in the gut, and there's neurons in the gut, just like the heart. There's tons of neurons. There's more neurons going from the gut to the brain than the brain to the gut. And that's because in the gut, we're actually receiving the consciousness, right? The life force, we're receiving life force from the air and the sun and the earth, but we're also receiving life force from what we label as food. And so amplifying that and making sure that that part of our body is cleaned out, stabilized, able to nourish us is just important as the practices that we're doing, you know, up here.
Yeah.
Right? Because we are eating most every day. And so if we can amplify the ability for our body to digest food, then that's going to amplify our totality of our being. And so, yeah, we've got a business around superfoods, and that's what their main job is, right? To nourish, to make sure that our bodies are nourished, that it's capable of detoxification, because there's so many toxins in our environment and pollution, the stuff they spray on the foods, and most of us aren't aware of really how bad that stuff is for us.
Yeah.
Like there's this thing called glyphosate. It's chemical they spray on a lot of our food supply. Yeah. Basically 100% of us have it in our body. And its job is it's an herbicide. It destroys the biology of the earth, but they make GMOs that can survive through it. But that herbicide goes into our gut and where all of our bacteria is, and it kills all of our bacteria. And so a lot of us don't have the processing power in our bodies to digest food. And so we've got superfoods that remove that chemical for one example of what we do. And yeah, we change people's lives with them. We guarantee money back that people's lives will get changed. Actually, they're that good. So yeah, you can go to, reach out to me at Raw of Earth on Instagram, rawoferarth.com, or I think it's just Raw of Earth with no underscores on TikTok.
Yeah. Awesome, man. One other thing that I definitely wanted to ask you about, because I when I heard you say to the Quantum Healing Collective, it was powerful, but your relationship to the sun and how you harness that energy as well as the energy from the earth.
Right. So meditation we were just doing, we were imagining us being in a giant universe. That's actually true, depending on how you view what reality is. But let's just say from a classical standpoint, the sun is an energetic node within the vastness of the galaxy, and the galaxy would be a point of energy in the vastness of the entire universe. And we're an aspect of all of that. And so we have free will to do whatever we want, right? We can go, most of us go to a job that we don't like, right? But it gets us the money that we need to purchase the things that we think we desire. And so there's this kind of like, there's a lot of cleaning we need to do in terms of aligning ourselves, because that's just an example of things that we do that we're not really in alignment with, but we do them anyways because what we are in alignment with it, like that's necessary, right? There's probably a better way to get the things that you want. Where's that going to come from, right? Like, where is that code? Where is that information going to come from? If you sat down and did meditations like we're doing right now in these practices, that will help. But also, every cell in your body has its own thoughts and choices to make as well. And they're not necessarily using your brain up here. They might be, but if you go outside, the information that all of your body, including your non-physical body, needs to make the choices that the different aspects of yourself need to make, that's all going to get nourished by light. Light isn't just allowing us to see, right? If we can start looking at light as something different, like it's information that's more than physical. It's a multidimensional, probably even more than, it doesn't even operate in a linear time fashion. So if you want to be really connected to source, which is what this entire talk has been about, then the sun is really our access point into that. And then we have light everywhere else. Everything, like even the artificial stuff in our reality, is filled with light. Everything, the steel, the everything, the plastics, all of that it's originating from light. So we want to be, we could be consumed with interior light and the light kind of weakly emanating off of I got a wood desk. There's light, like that's what a tree is. It's storing sunlight, right? So there's light all around us. It's nourishing us. But if you really want the most potent, up to date, right? Because our sun's traveling through the galaxy and that galaxy is shifting energies, but up to date light, then we're talking about the sun and the stars even.
Oh, I love that. Any questions?
No, I feel completely satisfied.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I got a question for you. Are you going to start this podcast?
Yes.
Yes,
Let's go.
I knew it.
That was a real thing I've been contemplating. And yeah, what I displayed today helped me make that decision. I mean, it's not even a decision, it's a feeling, right? I'm just following the feeling state.
Well, we would love to support you in that. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, however we can support you, man, let us know. And everybody that's listening, subscribe to Ra's podcast when it comes out. It's going to be the best podcast there is. So. Is there any other ways that we can support you, man?
I mean, everything's about social media. So just check me out there. And there's ways that we have mutual support systems like available through social media. So I support everyone supports, even if it's just with attention.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for this, man. This was incredible.
Much.
Beyond anything I could have ever imagined.
Actually, I'll just give a direct, since you asked, if you see a post on Instagram that you resonate with, just share it. Share it in your story, share it with a friend.
Yeah. And what's your handles again? Raw of Earth?
Raw_of_earth.
All right. Awesome, man. Thank you so much, brother. This was incredible.
This was really incredible.
Thank you, guys.